Hello, everybody, and welcome to Brooks Knows Baseball. This is the weekly podcast where we discuss the going-ons and happenings in the baseball world, as well as we are starting to cover some, I guess, what you would call more storylines of it's more opinion pieces as well. But today, I think we have a good one today. We're going to talk about the greatest baseball player in Major League history. John, who do you think the best player of all time is?
Well, I guess that'd be debatable. From what all I've gathered, because I see him play, Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth, which would be the two best players.
Yeah, I would agree. Ty Cobb's up there with some other players you can talk of that aren't obviously pitching is different. So we're not really mention any pitchers. You got to go. Hank Aaron should be up there. Willie Mays also should be up there. Ted Williams, Gehrig, Mantle, Frank Robinson really as
DiMaggio,
well. Um, you think there's any modern day guys? But now before we go on,
Pete Rose,
I want
George.
to modern. I want to address the elephant in the room. Well, we will not
Are you
mention.
making a joke about my size?
No, but I could make plenty of jokes about your size. Speaking of dramatic size increases, this is a good segue. Let's talk about someone we will not mention because I don't respect him. That would be Barry Bonds. It was probably a nice 175 as a rookie. Then I guess he had a great workout regimen at the end of his career. Probably looked like he was about 235, 245. But everyone knows, men as you age in your 40s, you get more testosterone and you look better than you did in your 20s. So
Right.
that makes total sense here. But we will not be mentioning, and I'm not going to speak for you. I'll let you speak on this as well. I will not mention Barry Bonds because I do not think he's worthy of mentioning. Obviously, he's a good baseball player, but when you cheat the game like he did and you're an asshole like he is, you're not worth mentioning.
Right.
Um, he would have been probably, you'd hear the conversation, but it's just his stats don't make any sense because he's a cheater, and people say, "Well, he deserves to get
Kind of
in."
like
Best.
Roger Clemens got better as he got
Roger
older.
Clemens is a cheater. Sammy Sosa's a cheater. Those guys there. Alex Rodriguez is a cheater. I don't consider
McGuire,
him. McGuire, yeah. Who else? We got
Palmero.
Palmero, um,
Yeah, there's too many to mention.
Canseco,
Yeah, he
Brady
admitted.
Anderson.
At least Canseco admitted his.
Yeah, he admitted
And what
everything.
was that last one you said? There's no
Brady,
proof. Brady Anderson. Don't talk about Brady Anderson.
there's
But
no proof.
that
There's
will
proof. Look at his
lead to
stat
me
line.
being led away in hand.
Wait. When you got a guy who hits 20-ish, low 20 home runs every year, and then hits, 46 one year, and then drops back down? Come on now, man. Come on. You know he did steroids. You're not going to say it because you have this love affair with him. Maybe I think you guys used to rollerblade together or something like that. Manly activities here. But, yeah.
Is that a reference to him rollerblading to the stadium?
Yeah, you can't do that in downtown Baltimore no more.
No, crazy.
But Babe Ruth, to me, is the far and away the greatest baseball player in baseball history, and not just because of the fact that what he did on the field was revolutionary at the time. There was no one like him at the time before him, and there's really been no one since him. And people want to compare Ohtani to him, and no, Ohtani's not going to have the impact stateside.
He's not going to have 700 home runs. Number one, he doesn't win championships like the Babe did.
No. So one thing I know a lot of say analytically, you say, well, statistically, he's this or he's that. Barry Bonds is better. Well, Barry Bonds played, 22 seasons. Babe Ruth played 22 seasons. Above which for Babe Ruth, though, he has 2,000 less, roughly, almost, let me see here, almost exactly 2,000 less bats than Barry Bonds. So give Babe those 2,000 extra bats. Say he's not a pitcher.
And I think travel was probably a lot harder for those guys back then on trains and things. Playing doubleheaders back to back. It was a big difference.
Yeah, and he didn't have Barry Bonds' workout regimen either.
No.
But taking a look here at Babe Ruth. So you look at Boston. So from age 19 to 23 for Babe Ruth, he never had more than 317 at-bats. Okay? So, and then if you go from 19 years old to 22 years old, the most he had in a season is 136. So he didn't really play. He's obviously majority of a pitcher at the time. but then in 1920 or 1918, at age 23, is when he sort of transitioned to an outfielder. In 1919, he was a full timer. His
Hey,
last
well,
season.
can I interrupt you too? When you talk about Otani, look at the Babe's pitching numbers compared to Otani's.
We will. Well, let's talk about what he's known for real quick. When I'm going to name some stats here. So, looking at the stat line, I believe I read last week that say going into the 1920 season, the home run record for a single season was like 30, something like that.
Uh
Uh,
huh.
Babe Ruth hit 54,
No,
and
I think it was a lot less than that when he went into when he had his big year.
well, it's
Less sharp because before he broke it was like 10 or 12 by like someone like Wee Willie Keeler or somebody.
we Willie Keeler.
Uh huh.
All right, here is the progressive single season home run record. Okay, so yeah, it started, I guess, when records he kept for Philadelphia Athletics. This guy could probably play right now from the grave for the Athletics now. But George Hall hit 5 home runs, and that was the record in 1876. Then in 1879, Charlie Jones for the Boston Red Caps came along, hit 9 home runs, which stood for 4 years. And you got Harry Stovey for the Athletics in 1883, who hit 14 home runs. Okay, then you had Ned Williamson. And then you go to so Ned Williamson in 1884. He hit it 27 home runs. But if you look, at the time there were different rules at each individual park for what constitutes as a home run. Okay,
Right. A lot of them didn't even have outfield walls, I believe, back in those
exactly.
days.
So a lot of times, even if it did go over the outfield wall, they call it ground rule double. They wouldn't call it home run. That stadium, the Chicago White Sox, was it Kaminsky back then?
I don't think it was in the 1800s. No.
Anyway, one of the old Chicago White Sox stadiums, the owner, each team had their individual set of ground rules. So they decided that, hey, he has this amount of home runs. So people still at the time looked at Charlotte Jones as being the record holder, but not Harry Stovey with the Athletics. But I'm sorry, Ned Williamson with the White Sox. But that record still stood for 35 years, which to this day is the third longest reign a single season record has stood. So then you go from that 29 home runs in Babe Ruth in 1920, his 25-year-old season. I'm sorry, 24 years old. He beat it. He hit 29 home runs, beat it by 2 in 1919. Then 1920, when he was in New York, he beat it again, hitting 54 home runs. And then in
Beat it
1921,
again.
1921, he beat his own record, hitting 59 home runs, which stood for 6 years. And then in 1927, at age 32, he beat it once again, hitting 60 home runs, which stood for 34 years until another Yankee, Roger Maris. Then you get some of the cheaters, McGuire, Sosa, McGuire, Bonds, who not even want to mention those because they're cheaters. But taking a look at more of Babe Ruth's stats. So it was really the dead ball era, and he was hitting these home runs in a lot of different places before the Yankee Stadium really, either the Polo Grounds, some other stadiums like that. But Yankee Stadium, one argument you could have against him that they built that wall, they built the right field wall closer in, what I read as well, so he'd have more home runs there. But so he hit 29 home runs in 1919. You go to 20, 54, 21, 59, and he hit 35 because he got hurt when he played 110 games in 23, 41, 46, 25, 47, 60, 54, 46, 49, 46, 41 at age 37. At 38 years old, he hit 34. 1934 at age 39, he hit 22, and then his last year for
Braves.
yes, the Braves. That's right, the Boston Braves. He hit 6. Um, his average really he shouldn't have played the year. One
But let
thing,
me ask you this: when you talk numbers, probably most any serious baseball fan can tell you how many home runs Babe Ruth hit, but how many can tell you the other guys?
right?
It's just like when Hank Aaron's a home run uh, king in my book,
Yes.
but he had like 5,000 more at bats and only had what 24, like 40 some home runs more than the Babe.
Well, let's do some individual stats. You know, a lot of people say, "Well, Barry Bonds is best," and I don't like Barry Bonds at all. I don't respect Barry Bonds at all. Again, for
Well, what was Babe Ruth's lifetime average? 342.
we'll get to there. Hold on. We're going to do head to head, and I know baseball is a little bit different because you have 27 players on a roster as opposed to say a basketball where you got
26.
26. Sorry, but Babe Ruth won 7 World Series. Barry Bonds won 0. Babe Ruth made 10 World Series. Barry Bonds made 1. Postseason appearances. Barry Bonds made 7. Babe Ruth made 10. Seasons played, they both played the same amount of seasons. Scrolling down a little bit more, Hall of Fame, yes, obviously Babe Ruth got in 95%, 1936. Barry Bonds has not, and I believe his time's up. Right, he has to go to the Veterans Committee at this point.
Right,
I don't
and
think
then
he gets in.
probably harder.
I don't think he gets in. I hope he doesn't get in. He don't deserve it. MVPs, um, wildly, Babe Ruth only has one MVP. I don't understand
Yeah,
that.
nope.
But Barry Bonds has 7, so Barry Bonds has in there. All-Star games a little different because of the time Barry had 14, Babe
Well,
had
hold on.
2.
Babe Ruth, they didn't start the All Star games till the 30s.
Yep, so 33 and 34 is his first one. Then Silver Slugger Awards, which obviously I don't know why this is on here because Silver Slugger wasn't even around then. So it's not fair to even compare the two. It's along the same with Gold Gloves. You can't compare the two. Batting champion, Babe Ruth only has one batting champion, which is wild to me. Barry Bonds only has 2 home run, single season home run champions. Babe Ruth had 12. Barry Bonds had 2 RBI champion. Babe Ruth again 6. Barry Bonds 1. Leader in runs. Babe Ruth had 8. Barry Bonds had 1. Leader in walks, 11 for the Babe and 12 for Barry Bonds. Leader in on base percentage, tied at 10. Slugging percentage, Babe Ruth is 13 and Barry Bonds has 7. So individual statistics head to head. Obviously, it's a little bit different of a game than each guy played, but statistically, single season, Babe Ruth has better stats. Games
Well,
played,
let me ask you this: if you how many teams were in the league that year? Any of his years, like 10,
yeah,
12, no, 10, probably, right?
yep,
And there's like 30 now. So if you take that many players, another 250, 300 players, they would have been in triple and double A back then.
yeah,
So weaker competition. I mean,
yeah,
granted, there's difference in the game, like relief pitchers now and stuff, but most of these guys that throw hard, most of them come in later. Fastball guys, some are sliders too, but I don't think that probably would help the Bay more. These guys coming in throwing heat.
yeah. I think it's all relative. A lot of people say, "Well, he couldn't hit a 85-mile-an-hour fastball." I think that's a ridiculous comparison there, and it's insulting.
Walter Johnson is a known fact. He threw a lot harder than that.
Yeah, but
So
you
it wouldn't
look at
help.
games played. Barry Bonds has right under 3,000. Ruth has 2,500. Big difference right there. At
Yep.
bats, again, we already discussed the difference in at bats there. Plate appearances. Um, Ruth had 10,600 plate appearances, and Bonds had 12,600 plate appearances.
Did Barry Bonds ever call his shot in the World Series?
No, he didn't really do anything ever in the playoffs. Look at his playoff numbers, pretty bad. But looking at their career batting average, Barry Bonds 298, which is very good, obviously. Babe Ruth 342. Home runs 714 for Ruth, 762. Big extras behind Bonds' grand slams. Barry Bonds has 11. Babe Ruth has 16. Career RBIs. Babe Ruth has 2,200. Barry Bonds has 1996. Hits are very similar. Babe Ruth has 2873. Bonds has 29. Runs scored very similar again. 2170 then 22-2 for Barry Bonds. Triples. Babe Ruth hit. How many triples do you think Babe Ruth hit this career? Everyone wants to say he's this
Mm,
big fat guy. So what do you
Probably
think?
about 35.
136. He had
Really?
136 triples.
Well, part of that probably is because the fences in most parks were a lot longer.
Yeah.
So you drive them over the head, which would have been home runs today. I
Yeah.
think we touched on last week, didn't we? That the Babe would have had like another 200 home runs if he
Yeah.
used the dimensions.
Yeah. Um, Again, walks. Barry Bonds did have more walks, but then you go to on base percentage. Babe Ruth has the highest. I'm sorry, on base plus slugging has the highest in MLB history at 206, and the go to the wins above replacement. Taking a look at, let me go back here. Babe Ruth is by far and away the leader in wins above replacement in MLB history. He sits, what did I say it was? My computer's running slow here. He has 182.6 wins above replacement. Barry Bonds is at 162.8. So, again, big difference there. But yeah, I just think we're talking strictly on field stuff for Ruth right now. But let's compare the off the field things for him. I know Ruth obviously wasn't this saint off the field, but the way that he grew the game at such a time period that the game needed to be grown, you can't. I mean, he's every. If you're not a baseball fan, everyone knows who Babe.
Babe Ruth saved baseball.
Everyone knows who Babe. Everyone knows who
No,
Babe.
he saved after the 1919 Black Sox scandal. He saved it.
Yeah,
He brought it to prominence, just like Cal Ripken did after the strike with his streak. You know,
Yeah, I mean, who do you think apart if it's not Barry Bonds? You think who what would you think would have an argument to be or considered one of the best apart from Babe?
Ty Cobb,
Yeah,
367 lifetime average. When you mention modern players, you had Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Pete Rose, and George Brett were I think the two best players I've ever seen.
yeah.
Uh, Personally, all around players. Cal Ripken's up there. There's a lot of different guys.
Hey, I'm sorry to cut you off. Let me tell you this real quick. In modern baseball parks, under modern baseball rules, in 1921, Babe Ruth would hit 104 home runs.
There you have it.
Think of that, 104 home runs. That is
That's right.
just and then it says here, um, Ruth would hit 104 home runs in 1921, 90 in other seasons, and well over 60 multiple times. He would have hit statistically over 1,000 home runs in his career if he played in today's world.
Right.
1,000 home runs. So
And I don't want people go, well, the times are different. The cream always rises to the top. They were the
you can't
best
say,
in their
well,
era.
they're better back then, they're better now. You can say about any sport if you want to. People always say that about every sport. Like they'll say, I mean, it's hard to compare for football's sake. Sammy Ball, who is widely known as the best quarterback in the early part of the NFL, you can't compare him to Tom Brady. I mean, it's different, yes, but at the time, he was who he was at the time. You can't.
Exactly right. Sonny Jurgensen was, for his era, he led just about everything, passer rating in his era.
Yeah.
But when you look at his numbers, they stink compared to other guys. Joe Namath.
Uh,
I read a book where you look at Joe Namath's stats, and he had a lot of more interceptions. I think he had touchdowns. But I read a book by Mike Curtis, former linebacker for the Colts, uh, Washington D.C. native. But anyway, like you said, Namath was the best. So there you go.
I think
Different era.
I think Staubach was better back then, but we'll go.
Okay, I got to go.
Yeah, Kenny Stabler. I didn't mean Staubach. I meant Kenny Stabler. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Stabler was a good
I
quarterback.
meant Stabler, not
Look
Staubach.
at look at Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw, 4 Super Bowls. His numbers were never like Tom Brady's, but he got 4 Super Bowls. And how many did he lose? Oh, none. Okay, but
Yeah.
anyway,
Here's another one for tape measure home runs for Babe Ruth at Plant Field, April 4th,
in
1919.
Florida.
Yep. Off of George Smith, they estimated his ball to go up to 612 feet. And they
There you go.
weren't using the kind of bats that Barry Bonds was using. They probably used a piece of heavy lumber.
No, yeah, they had Louisville Sluggers and stuff then, but they were not what they are today, probably.
Walter Johnson. He hit a home run off of Walter Johnson, went 520 feet.
And Walter Johnson brought the heat.
Yeah, Sportsman's Park in 1921 against Urban Shocker, 535.
Who's a big name from the past.
Yeah, Burt Cole, they said possibly over 600 feet, longest verifiable home run in Major League history.
There you have it.
And that was, in the Polo Grounds, 560 feet. You don't see those home runs today. Aaron Judge couldn't hit a ball 560 feet today. He'd have to use a
No.
metal bat.
But Aaron Judge doesn't even have 200 home runs. He's already 30 years old, right?
And the balls Babe Ruth played did not look like this.
And the balls that the Yankees had then probably weren't juiced like they came out with the study. So there's 3 different balls last year, and the Yankees had one set of balls that the other teams weren't getting.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and finish it, and then we can actually jump into the modern day stuff. You can wrap it up here for give us a little give your thoughts on the greatest baseball player ever.
Well, like you said, Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth for me, but I didn't see them play. I'm reading reports and some black and white film that you see from time to time. But my era, Pete Rose, George Brett, they jump off top of my mind whenever I think superstars. And there's some good guys now. Don't get me wrong. But those guys, I mean, Pete Rose did it year in, year out. George Brett, look at his numbers, man. He was almost the last guy to hit 400. Oh, I did forget one. That was really good. Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn was one of the best hitters I've ever seen, hands down. Tony Gwynn was amazing.
Yep.
But I'd go with them. And then, I mean, in a little bit earlier era, I know Willie Mays. I did get to see him play in person, and he was a great player, really great player. And Hank Aaron was also. So I mean, there were some other ones. I mean, Stan Musial. I didn't see him play. Mickey Mantle. He's quitting just as I was starting to really pay attention to baseball, and he was hurt, and he had some really good numbers. I mean, there's a lot of them. Yastrzemski. People talk about him.
I
mean,
don't
I
think
think
there's anyone playing today that could has a chance. At least not that. I mean, there's no one that's playing today. I don't think who in 20 years can say he was the best player to ever play. Football, you can say that. Hockey, you can say that with Ovechkin the way he's turning out right now. I mean, Gretzky obviously.
he's the greatest
Gretzky
goal
is
scorer. He's not the greatest hockey player.
no, but there's an argument to say he's the greatest goal scorer ever.
Yeah, well,
But I'm just saying, hockey. Gretzky is the most dominant athlete of any pro sport ever.
that's right.
It's,
He didn't
yeah,
break records. He crushed records.
that's gonna be on Brooks Knows Ice. In our next podcast will start. But yeah, the Gretzky's. But I think football, you could say arguably Tom Brady, arguably is the greatest player ever. I
Greatest
guess
quarterback. Greatest quarterback.
maybe, but you could say Aaron Donald's arguably one of the greatest defensive linemen ever. I mean, there's players. I don't think there's anyone in baseball right now. Trout's good, but you're not gonna look at Mike Trout and say, "Damn, he was the best player to ever play baseball."
Not the best ever.
You're
No,
not gonna
there'll
say
be
that.
good players,
There's
but
good
not the
players
best
now. I
ever.
mean, like I think Arenado right now is personally to me is the best player of the last 15 years
All around.
all around. Yeah, because he's
But
the
I think Trout's as good as him.
Trout's a better hitter. Arenado just plays a more premium position. He's a better.
Position.
He's the,
Right.
he literally the gold glove standard at fielding since he came to the league.
Right. I mean, there's some good guys. It's like I watched, and I'm not saying he's in that level yet, but Guerrero, and he the whole weekend against Baltimore, they shut him down. I mean, great guy. I mean, everybody slumps him, but dang. Anyway,
The whole
yeah,
team
but
is
you're
strong.
right. I was going to say there's top player evers in this generation now.
But moving on, I guess one thing I do want to hit on. Speaking of Nolan Arenado, let's talk about the Cardinals real quick. The turnaround Cardinals,
Yep.
who we did say, I said,
And they're still
they,
6 games under.
yeah, they're only 5 out of first place too, though. So it's that division's it's a bad division.
They'll win the
Milwaukee,
division, but
they're
they
going to
need
win the
some.
division. They're 100.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Milwaukee. Yeah,
Milwaukee, Pittsburgh is dying as everyone really
they're
thought
dead
they
on
were.
arrival, dude.
Yeah, the Cubs aren't any good. The Reds are the Reds, and every year they're the Reds. So they're not any
Let me
good.
hold up right there. When you say that, that's disrespectful because when I was growing up, they were the team,
Okay,
and
when
they
you were growing up, they were the big red machine. They are not that
that's
anymore.
and they well, how about when they had the Nasty Boys in the late '80s? They were
They're
good
closer
then
to
too.
Clifford, the big red dog, right now than anything else. All right,
Uh,
their owner has went there and killed them. You know, I'm a big
just like
Cincinnati guy.
Pittsburgh.
I love Skyline Chili. All right, I love Cincinnati. All right,
I second
they
that.
have blessed the world.
I may move there just so I can get a Skyline chili.
I love this English shit. I may move to England.
For anybody who saw Major League, you'll know what he's talking about. Major League too.
uh, yeah, the Cardinals. You know, they're 8-2 in their last 10 games.
Who's hotter than them in the last 10?
Well, I can name a team.
Astros 9-1.
The Astros are good. The Mets are 7-3 in their last 10 games.
Is that included just winning a few minutes ago?
Should yeah.
Swept 2 from Cleveland today.
I'm not a believer in the Mets.
Hey, and they had Scherzer and Verlander, and they didn't both get the win. Verlander did, but they both were pitching today,
But
and Scherzer didn't give a run.
let's start at the top in the most competitive, the absolute best, hands down, no questions asked, division
From
of
top to
baseball,
bottom.
the American League East. Tampa Bay, who is slumping. And my prediction, I'm still holding my prediction by June 1st, Baltimore will be in first place, and I'm holding true to that.
Well, I'll tell you what. On that, let's see how they do against the mighty Yankees Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then next week, and then they hit Texas too. So by this time next week, we'll know where they're headed.
Yep, but Tampa Bay, they lost their first game. They're going to Toronto. Toronto's slumping though, so maybe
What you know how all year Tampa's been first in offense and average and everything,
yeah,
and first in ERA.
yep.
They fell in ERA. Do you know who's leading in ERA in the whole league now? What team?
Baltimore.
No. The Houston Astros.
We'll get to them in a minute. I do want to hit on them for. I really want to talk about them in a minute. But again, Tampa. I think they're 5-5 in the last 10 games. The Orioles are on their butts, man. They're only 2.5 games behind right now. They go to the Yankees, like you were mentioning, them before 3 game set. That's going to tell a lot. The Yankees say the Yankees sweep them, which they're not going to sweep them.
I think if Orioles go into the Yankee Stadium and win 1 out of 3, it wouldn't be that bad.
After getting a sweep, I was hoping on this short little road stand they did, they would win 4 games, and I would have been happy if they went 4-3 in the last 7. So, and they're ideally going to do that.
And speaking of hot teams, the Yankees are 8-2 in their last 10.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Their run differentials coming up as well.
Well, I get it. I get it. It's just like their pitcher, Herman. He should have been thrown out of a game earlier than last week or whatever. He gets caught and gets suspended. It's just like Kevin Gausman said. He said that for 3 innings we couldn't touch him, and they found out. He said we need those 3 innings back, and he's right.
Well, speaking of cheating as well, you see about Judge when they're up there?
I heard a little bit about
So
that.
when you're batting, right? Watch. You're the pitcher. I'm looking at the camera. I'm batting. Watch my eyes. If my eyes do this, what would you think? Right before the pitch. If your eyes look, there's no reason your eyes look away. In the first base coach is way behind the batter.
Well, now let me say this:
coach's box.
If they're stealing signals,
again,
from seeing it, that's okay. That's baseball.
What?
That's been baseball history forever. If you know how to steal signs, more power to you. But doing it illegally, like the Yankees in Houston and Boston did, that's one thing.
Well, is it illegally if the coach isn't in the coach's box like he's supposed to be?
No coaches stand in the coach's box.
Well, but the thing is, they'll let the Yankees get away with anything they want to. They'll let the Yankees get away with anything that they want to.
Well, just like Herman that first time, he should have been thrown out. Did you read where the umpire said, when I touched his hand, I couldn't almost pull it away. It was so sticky.
And
they got Cole on that before. I mean, not a couple years ago when they changed the tacky stuff and they said something about it, then his numbers went up. So he may be doing it again.
Yeah, but they'll let him get away with it because for whatever reason they think that
because they want it's just like boxing. They want certain teams.
Boxing is the most crookedest crap the last 2 weeks of any sport I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. All right, I know this isn't a boxing show, but Roland Romero, if you're a boxing fan, look what happened last week and then last night, Devin Haney versus Lomachenko. Watch that fight.
That's why it's not a big sport like anything else.
It's going to die out even faster because of the way it seems to be. It's just there's corruption at every hole. I mean, that's why ESPN fired. I know it's not a boxing show, but ESPN got rid of Teddy Atlas, who's his Hall of Fame trainer, because he called out corruption on the air and they didn't like it.
Right. Well, but anyway, yeah. Where were we? Oh,
let me finish out the AL East. We're getting a little long-winded here.
Okay.
But so we got the Boston Red Sox 26-1 with my standings went away. But yeah, the Boston 26-1.
Way over expectations on them.
Yeah, I think
Bubble's going to burst. Bubble's going to burst because they got so many old guys. They're going to start having breaking hips and stuff. They're going to be in trouble.
Think about expectations.
Their hitting's what's putting them up there. It ain't their pitching.
Yeah. Well, the Blue Jays are 4-6 in the last 10, and they're last place. They just got.
Well, I'll say something about them. I watched their games this weekend, and just like at Manoah, is obvious he hit Mountcastle, in my estimation, because he owns them, and he hit him, and that's why they suck, because they do chicken crap stuff like that. And what happened? They just pissed the Orioles off, and Orioles swept them.
One thing I want to say about Manoah, so his numbers were like. He was arguably last year. I'm going somewhere with this. Last year, he was arguably the best pitcher in the American League, right?
He's one of them.
So, here's my theory. He took a long time. He's a fat guy. Like, there ain't but he's a fatty. All right.
Did you think he took offense to someone, a Montreal radio guy made a fat comment about their fat catcher, and he got mad about it? Said it shouldn't be fat shaming him. I guess he said it because they're both lard asses.
All right, yeah. Imagine their food bill after the game there. But listen to me here. So last year, I read statistically he took a long time to pitch every pitch. Right now, the pitch clock's on, and he's fat and out of shape. Which you can laugh, but it's true. I mean, I'm fat and out of shape too. I can say it. All right. And now that he has to hurry, he doesn't have the fitness to do it, and his numbers are terrible. They're terrible, and. I think their manager's an idiot. Do you see what he did to how to get Manoah taken out?
But I was thinking about that. We didn't score. The Orioles didn't score that inning, so it wouldn't have mattered. Anyway. So he would have coming out after that probably.
But moving on to AL Central, what's funny? You can go to the AL East the way the standings look and just keep on going down. That's how the AL Central lines up as well. So The Minnesota Twins are still in first place. They are not doing good as of late. They are at 25-22. They're going to
Ain't got
easily
an
win.
easy.
They're going to win that division. That division sucks.
Yeah.
They're going to win that division. They're the only team with a plus run differential in that division, which tells you right there they should win that division. Second place, like everyone predicted, Detroit Tigers, which is awesome to see that. I'm glad to see that they're back up there. They're only
Yeah,
three and
but
a half
they
games
but
out.
they didn't do very good in DC this weekend, did they?
No, they lost 2 in a row. They are 4-6 in the last 10, but
Hey, they gave up 18 hits to Washington today.
I think they're on the rise though. They got
Hey, but
they're young.
I'm gonna touch this in a minute, but that's shocking to give up 18 hits to the Nationals, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean because they're not very good. But did you know that the Nationals are the fifth best hitting team in all of baseball?
didn't know that.
That's right.
Then third place we have the Cleveland Guardians 20-26. The Shy Sox and the Royals are just a big
Horrible.
mess. Did you see Tim Anderson? They caught him on. I think he said something like "I hate this effing place" or some this place effing sucks or something like that on the mic when he's talking
Well,
stuff.
because he's tired of playing for a loser, I guess. Because
He's gone.
he's a
He's
good
gone.
player.
He's okay. He's gonna be
Well,
gone.
I don't need him on my teams that I like, but yeah,
No.
he'll go somewhere. You know where a good place for him would be? L.A. They need a shortstop.
Yeah.
That'd be a good place. And he may end it there because they got the prospects to get him.
What about the Mets? Who's the
They got Lindor.
Lindor is not what he was though.
No, that's a shame because
The
I like
Guardians
him.
won that trade because they gave up. Wasn't it Jimenez for him? The Mets gave
Yeah,
up Jimenez for him. That was a good trade for the Guardians.
yeah, but Lindor, they had to do it because they knew he was going to leave. But
Yeah.
after his contract's up, but I don't understand
The
that.
Guardians are typically a good team. This is or at least a competitive team. They're not
But
competitive.
I'll say this: they usually start this way and then they pick it up. Francone's best manager in baseball.
He's
I'm
good.
hoping he retires and takes over Baltimore because
But
his
then
dad was an Oriole.
if we go to the AL West, the Texas Rangers, who are 7-3, they've won three
Oh, they're
games.
pounding the ball, man.
Yeah, and they
And
like
Seager's
that
back.
they have a series against the Pirates this week, so they should sweep the Pirates. But then you got
Ooh.
the hottest team in baseball, a team that I'm predicting if they take over the lead, they will not relinquish it. The
Well, we
Pirates.
said before the year. I remember saying the Astros would be there, and they got Altuve back too, buddy.
Okay, I never said. I think it was a shot at me. I never said they wouldn't be there. All right, I said they wouldn't win in the playoffs against the Rangers. Okay, I also said that the Orioles would
It'll
win
be
it.
the Astros and the Braves, but anyway, go ahead.
I said the Twins would win that division. You didn't think the Twins would win that division. They're first place.
Well, they ain't won yet because they ain't no good either.
I said the Orioles would make the playoffs. No one in the world said that. They're in the
I
playoffs right
told you
now.
that last year.
All right, and I said Texas would win that division, and right now they're winning that division. All right,
They won't win the division, but anyway, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it.
but I think they're very similar teams. But the only thing Houston has on them is they know how to do it because they've done it. Manager
That's right.
wise, I think they're uh, even if anything.
Bochy's a great
I'd say
manager.
they're even if anything. Bochy's better because he's won more.
I think Dusty Baker is an underrated manager. I think he's a great manager. Washington made a huge mistake when they got rid of him. But anyway,
I'm surprised he's still on. He's like 136. Didn't he break in with Jackie?
yeah, I think the year after, both with the Dodgers.
But then you got the Angels sitting around 500, which is what they do every year. Seattle under 500, which is typically what they do.
Underachieving team. Underachieving team.
Seattle, that's what they're the most let down, underachieving team in Major League Baseball history. Okay,
Kalenic hit a home run today.
who did? Kelnick?
Kalenic.
Kelnick.
Kalenic.
It's not Kalenic. It's
Yeah, you
Kel.
always get it wrong. No, it's not
I
Kalenic.
always say Kalenic. It's
No,
Kelnick.
it's the dude on Seattle. Good to National League East.
Boy, we didn't talk about Oakland.
And
Going on to the NL East, we have Atlanta, who is 4-6 in their last.
slumping. Right.
Yeah, they are against the Dodgers, and they play the Dodgers. So that's
But they got some injuries in the pitching staff, don't they?
yes, they do.
Yeah, when Max Fried,
I'm doing my Spencer Strider impersonation today.
he's not as good either this year.
No, but then the Mets, they're coming, man. 25-23, the highest payroll in baseball, or second highest payroll in baseball. They should be better.
Yeah, because Verlander's pitching like he can, and Scherzer is now.
He got
So
Miami
look out.
game over 500, only half game back in the wild card, which is pretty
I
cool.
think they're doing a solid job, man. The new manager's doing a good job.
Yeah. Philadelphia Phillies are doing bad. They
won today.
Well, they're only 2 games ahead of the Nationals. So
that's shocking. The Nationals are over.
I know. I don't think you're a big fan of Davey Martinez, but
he's doing a good job. He's sticking with them through the rebuild. He probably could have left and went somewhere else with his track record. But he's getting a lot out of these young guys. And they've got a lot of young guys in the lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, people like Lane Thomas. People go, who? Look at Lane's numbers and come ask me who.
I like
Look at
Josiah Gray.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He got another one today,
I like him.
and he's got a 2-something ERA. Josiah Gray. That was a good pickup in the trade they got, and they got two great players in that trade, buddy.
Yep.
And and Dodgers got nothing to share for that trade, but because K-Bert Ruiz is a good young player. My buddy Dominic Smith at first, real solid year, just like I told everybody he would. Abrams good at short.
Did they win the
Uh,
World Series though when they got Turner, or was it year before?
I don't
Because
remember now.
they won it in 20, the COVID year, I believe.
And the Nationals, Robles is having a career year start, and he's been hurt for a while. But Alex Call's picking up slack. Lane Thomas, and my favorite name in all of baseball, Stone Garrett's getting a lot of time. Is that a cool name? There ought to be a detective show on Netflix called Stone Garrett PI.
Or
But
he should
anyway,
do some other type of profession.
hey, let's give another shout out again this week to Corbin. Another great effort yesterday.
Corbin Carroll, yeah, great.
No,
Oh,
the pitch. He's
Pat,
really bounced back.
turn
But
back
anyway,
the clock. Good for him. Good for the Nationals.
yeah.
Moving on to, we're gonna skip the Central because we already talked about AL Central. With obviously Milwaukee's in first place, Pirates are slumping, Cardinals are coming on. Going to the NL West, I want to touch on a team here I'm pretty proud about.
Who lost today? Whose pitcher
Okay,
Kershaw got blown
okay,
up
they
today? But
lost
anyway,
today. Big
to the
whoop.
Cardinals.
All right, yeah, the Cardinals are one of the hotter teams in baseball now. But I
How's Nolan
remember
Corbin on
beginning of
that
the
team?
year when we were doing our 30 for 30 breakdown.
Season ain't over, homeboy.
Someone said Dodgers ain't gonna be no good. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Well, 29-19, second best record in baseball. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Their run differentials have been positive all year, and I think that's a big teller right there. If you're a 500 team,
I like the Dodgers, but
I
I'm
don't
just
like
saying.
the Dodgers at all, but I think they're going to be a good
How
team.
about let's talk
But
about Arizona?
Dustin
How
May's
they're
hurt.
doing.
Dustin May's hurt. That's gonna be a
Gone for
big.
sure, pretty
That's a
much.
big blow for them. But I think Walker Buehler's about to come back within a
It
couple.
doesn't matter because they got so many guys that pitched last year. Spot start here and there, called up. And Gonsolin and I can't remember another guy's name, but they got plenty of them. Their pitching's not their problem. Muncie's overachieving. He's got 15 homers, but he hits for no average. Um, I don't know. I don't. They're kind of like the Yankees with better pitching. I don't know how they do it.
I think they're a
I
left.
mean, who's the Dodgers closer? Can you tell me
Yeah, it's Evan Phillips. Boom! You didn't think I'd know that, did you?
that? Is it?
Yeah, it is. That's the benefit of playing MLB The Show, my man.
I don't think he is the closer anymore.
What?
I don't think he is the closer. I think you're wrong.
Well, let's see right here. I'm looking up their stats. If my
Because last few times I checked, he was like 7/8 guy, 7/8 inning guy.
so who's your closer then? Is it Gratterall?
I don't know. That's why I hadn't watched their to end of their game.
Let's see here.
I'll be coasting. I got a job,
Isn't
so I
Evan
have to.
Phillips one of the best closers in baseball usually?
No,
I thought he's pretty good.
he was an Oriole reject.
Let's see here. ESPN, according to ESPN, they're closing. Yeah, it's Evan Phillips. What are you talking about?
How many saves he got?
I don't know. That's like that's for saying. According to the my internet is going kaput on me here. But let's see if I can pull Evan Phillips right now.
Either way,
He is okay. He's 7 saves on the year, 2.1 ERA. So,
who else has got saves on that team?
let's see. I think Gratterall would be the only one you would. They got Shelby Miller. He's not going to be it. Caleb Ferguson. Gratterall has 2 saves. Caleb Ferguson has 1 save. It sounds like they're a committee.
Yeah, I think that's how it is. Seriously, but Phillips last year,
Shelby Miller has a save.
Shelby having good numbers this year, isn't he?
Yeah. Yancy Almonte, I don't know, he needs to go to Oklahoma City. He got an 8.5 ERA. And Victor Gonzalez has
Don't he one of them?
no, he has no saves, but he has a 2.3 ERA, which is a good ERA. But they look. I mean, they're not. Max Muncy, you said he's overachieving, and he is, but his average is still 210, so
Right.
not that great. But let me see here, their save leader. Yeah, it's Evan Phillips, Gratterall, Ferguson, Andre Jackson, Shelby Miller all have at least 1 save. Evan Miller Evan Phillips has 8 opportunities, and he has a 2.1 ERA. So
Yeah,
he's the main guy. Um,
good for him.
but yeah, looking at the individual stats here, let's go ahead and talk about. I'm already on pitching. Let's talk about the pitching here. Who do you think has the lowest ERA in all of baseball? And it seems like every week we talk about this, and every week the guy's still there.
Lowest ERA?
Yep.
Lowest ERA in baseball. I can tell you because I take notes before we go on the air. The lowest is your buddy from Minnesota,
Sonny Gray. That's right.
Sonny Gray.
Then
And shockingly, who's second?
Alex Cobb at
Oh man,
1.94.
he's had some good numbers from time to time, but he's usually hurt. And Garrett Cole's right there, and my Cy Young pick McClanahan, who leads the league with 7 wins, but he's got a 2.05 ERA.
Tampa has Shane McClanahan. Isn't he a Baltimore native?
That's right.
Yeah, you got Shane McClanahan, 7-0,
But look who's second wins. Look who's second.
Zach Eflin,
Tampa Bay.
6-1.
Look who's third. Gallen, Kershaw, Steele, and Ryan. All of 6.
Yep.
How does Class A have 15 saves and that team barely has 15 wins?
Then you got Camilo Doval with the
I've seen him a couple times. He's a good pitcher.
I'm gonna say the 49ers, man. The Giants, he has 12 save opportunities.
Look who's third.
Okay,
Someone I never really.
Class A is not that good of a closer. Okay, he's blown 5 saves already. Has a 3.5 ERA. All right.
Yeah, let's see at the end of the year if you can say that.
Or how many saves is he gonna blow? Save opportunities. Excuse me. Josh Hader is the best closer in baseball. 0.9 ERA, 11 saves. But then you got Alexis Diaz.
How about Bautista? He's got 11 saves. How are his numbers? Look at his strikeouts.
He's got a 1.1. I don't believe in him though, man. He has his whip of all the top 10 closers. He has the highest whip apart from Kenley.
Let me ask you this: How did he look yesterday when he had to get 2 innings against Toronto with that offense?
I don't know.
Mowed their butt down.
I don't know. And with Class A, okay, he has 25 hits in 23 innings, dude. He's 14 runs in 23 innings. He's not. I mean, no. Who leads the league in strikeouts? That's pretty simple. Hey.
Yeah.
Spencer Strider has 86. Hardy has 86 strikeouts in 51 innings.
Yeah, he's not having the same kind of year though.
Well, I would love 2.9 ERA. All right, 4-1, 90.
Is it? It's 2.9 still.
2.96. Yeah.
I thought it moved up quite a bit in the last game, but anyway.
Kevin Gausman, who I predicted to be one of the top.
Pitched an excellent game today for 8 innings.
8 innings, yeah. Didn't get the win though, thankfully. I've always liked Gausman. I don't think Orchard got rid of him. He was their best pitcher when he was there too. But Gausman he's second in the league with 81 strikeouts. His whip is 1.0. Opponents just hit 236. You got Ohtani, who got blown up last week by the Orioles, has a 3.05 ERA.
They
Mitch
2 or 3
Keller,
home runs against him, didn't they?
yeah, they're cracking them. Innings pitched. Let's see who leads the league in innings pitched right now. We got Framber Valdez, who just did a complete game shutout today. It's a 2.4 ERA. Logan Webb, San Francisco, 2.9, 65 innings. Shane Bieber, 64 innings at 3.0.
He pitched good tonight.
Yeah, then you got Kevin Gausman. Let's see who the worst pitchers in baseball are right now.
Well, no, let me do that. Let's go to whip. I'm going to touch on his whip leader again.
Well, Jordan Lyles, by the way, is the worst pitcher in baseball. But
the
leader in whip still, after 9 games, 8 starts, 52 innings, Tyler Wells.
Baltimore Rule 5 pick from Minnesota. Minnesota blew down former Fort Myers baseball guy.
Yeah.
But they weren't there. What were they? What was their name back then? They weren't
Miracle. Yeah,
Miracle Whip. Hey, that.
What?
Hey, they were the Miracle, and he leads the league in whips. So together, that you get Miracle Whip. A great sandwich. Thing.
Hey, wait.
All right, man.
Wait. I gotta show it. You mentioned him. I gotta show it.
There you go. I can't see it.
Muscle man. There you go.
Can't see it.
You can't see that.
No, you move over to your right. Not too far.
Okay, well, I can see it. Anyway, all right. Let's go to offensive stats here.
We better wrap it up.
We're going to wrap it up after talking offense real quick. We're going to talk about just the hits leaders real quick, or we'll just talk about slugging leaders, on-base leaders. So, looking at the on-base percentage leaders, who do you think leads the league?
On base?
Mm-hmm. No, on-base plus slugging, OPS.
I don't know.
Aaron Judge.
He's
Aaron
hot.
Judge, 13 home runs, 32 RBIs, hitting 299. Awesome. And Yandy Diaz, Ronald Acuna, Nolan Gorman, Sean Murphy, Jordan Alvarez, Brent Rooker, the league leader in home runs right now. Pete Alonso with 17 home runs. Awesome. His
First,
average is terrible still. Um, Nolan Gorman, I'd keep an eye on him this year.
yeah, he's only like 24 years old too.
Yeah,
He
he's doing good. The hit leader in leader in hits right now. My MVP pick for the American League is Bo Bichette. Has 64 hits, leads the entire league in hitting. Average leader right now for qualified guys would be
I got
Luis.
to be honest with you. I agree he's a great player and he could win MVP, but I watched him this week and he just didn't stand out to me for 3 games in a
Stood
row.
out today. He had 3 hits today.
Yeah, but it didn't help. I mean, just he's a singles guy, man.
Yeah, but then we'll talk about hits leader real quick. Luis Arez, 382 again, who's led the entire year. Which three?
Coming down quick though, isn't it?
Yeah, but still, I mean,
Look at Chapman and AL, man. He's falling. He's just barely 300 now.
yeah, Luis
He'll
Arez. You can
50
say
this year.
so. You said Luis Arez has fallen in his last 7 games. You know what he said?
No, since last week it came down some.
Well, last 7 games, okay, he's hitting 400.
Nah.
I mean, you don't gotta believe me.
It may be the last 7 games he played, but not the last week. But anyway,
I mean,
he's a good hitter. I know he'll be a 300 hitter. I'm not worried about that. But
you think? What do you think the odds are him hitting above 380 for the year?
none,
I think he can hit 350.
maybe.
I think I do. I really think he can hit 350. Um,
Can he? Is he a righty or lefty hitter?
Lefty.
Well, that should help him some. But he's not very quick. He looks kind of thick.
He's only 175 pounds, but yeah, he's
He
not.
looks thicker, don't he?
Yeah, he just doesn't have a position. I like him. I really like him. I heard he's a really nice guy too. But his career batting average right now, since he come in the league, I've challenged you to find someone who's a better career hitter. 321 in today's baseball, you're not finding it. He's not a
No.
power guy. He's what was that old Minnesota Twins guy who was like that? It didn't have
Carew,
any power. There you go.
Rod Carew, one of the best. When we were talking about good players, I forgot about him. He's an excellent hitter.
Twins have had some good players.
Oh, and you know
Twins,
what? When we're talking about great players, Reggie Jackson, the man was amazing. Anyway,
what about Ricky Henderson?
amazing player, but he's an asshole. And the reason I say that, I was at a game in Minnesota, and he was on the Yankees at the time, and it was early. I got him really early, and there was just you couldn't count 100 people in there, and 4 or 5 kids came up to the. They saw him walking by the dugout, and they came up and said something to him. I seen him walk over to an usher, and I don't know what was said, but then the usher come up and told the kids to get out of there. That's
Well, a lot of baseball players have that reputation of not being the nicest.
they're
Nicest
the least
fellows.
friendly of all professional athletes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And my grown up basketball players were excellent. NASCAR, NFL, and hockey. They're all good. Baseball players, a lot of them had bad attitudes. Tom Seaver was the worst I've dealt with.
Well,
He would
before we
hide.
sign off here, I know we talk about the best baseball players, and I'm gonna wrap this up in a minute. But I just want to say, I'm looking at statistically the worst player to ever play baseball in 3,200 plate appearances. His WAR was -14. He's a career 170 hitter catcher, and he played a long time ago. But he's labeled as the worst baseball player in Major League history. Bill Bergen. There you go, 1901 to 1911. He
Okay.
struck out 350 more times than he had base hits in his career.
You got to see if your grandma see him play because that was before me.
His best season, his batting average was 200. So there's Bill Bergen for you. If you're a relative of Bill Bergen, let us know. We'll have you on the show.
Hey, but I wish I had a 200 major and I made it. But anyway,
Yeah, but back then he was getting paid 3 cents and a pack of cigarettes, probably.
hey, he got to play, man.
Yeah, at least I was there.
But just like Kevin Costner, for the love of the game, man.
There you go. Well, I will let you do the sign off here. We're went a little long today, but this has been Brooks News. So again, if you're here at this point, please like it, share it, subscribe it, comment on it. Let us know what you guys think. But BF John, I'll let you go ahead and do the sign off, pimp.
I thought it was OG.
No, you're BF John.
Uh, anyway, that's all for this week, folks. Catch us next time on Brooks Knows Best.
Good night.
Good night,
Yeah.
John Boy.